Windows is the most popular PC operating system in the world. It has been the default option since the start of personal computing, and every PC comes with Windows by default. However, people are more and more annoyed by Windows, especially since Windows 10, because since then it has slowly stopped being made for the best experience of the user. Instead, it has made you the product by serving you ads in the start menu and in the settings, collecting all of your data, and by pushing you to use Microsoft its services. If you use Windows, you will have an advertising ID turned on by default, so sites and programs can track you and so Microsoft can make a buck. As you may know, Windows also likes to spy on you. Things such as which programs you use, your browsing history, typing data, your geolocation, and all of your hardware identifiers are sent to Microsoft. And when you set up a new computer, you now need to create a Microsoft account, which will keep as much information as possible about your computer usage linked to your account. Then, after you've set up your computer, you will constantly get asked to back up all of your personal files to Microsoft through OneDrive. And Microsoft Defender scans all of your personal files and may upload any of them if they think it's suspicious. But now, Microsoft is also adding AI features in, such as Copilot Recall, which can keep track of everything happening on your screen and identify its context. We know Microsoft has collaborated with the NSA in the past because they were forced to thanks to things like the PRISM program. This was all in secret and we didn't know that until Edward Snowden exposed it over 10 years ago. So imagine what they are doing now. So not only is Windows spying on you, but it's also bogging down the performance of your system. If you want to avoid this, I have good news for you. There is another operating system besides Windows and macOS, and it's called Linux. Linux is an operating system that gives you total control over your system. There is no ads, no data collection, and it's totally free. Now you may wonder how that's possible. Well, you see, Linux is completely open source, meaning the code is open for anyone to see. It's developed by volunteers and by the joint effort of employees from tech companies, because they often use Linux in their server computers. Linux comes in many different shapes, meaning it can look and function exactly how you want to, because there's not one variant, but many for all kinds of people and purposes. You should also know that the software you use on a Linux system usually follows the same open source principles, meaning you will often use different programs as well. On your Linux system, you will see things such as an image viewer, a video player, an office suite, and an internet browser. All of these are also completely free and open source. As an example, there is no Microsoft Office, so instead you will use LibreOffice. And there is no Photoshop, but instead you can use GIMP. You can find alternative software for every piece of software you're used to on the Alternative 2 website, which I will link below. You can download this software from the software store included in the Linux system you chose. Now let's get into the Linux systems I recommend. Ubuntu is the most popular option and it has the best community support in case you have any questions. It's pretty similar to macOS if you set up the icon bar to be a dock at the bottom. This can be done through the settings menu. Linux Mint is also very popular. It's very similar to the old look and feel of Windows, with a start menu and a status bar on the bottom. It's personally my favorite because I feel like it's a very feature-complete distro. Another two variants worth looking into are Kubuntu and Zin OS. Here is what Kubuntu looks like. It looks a bit like modern Windows. and this is Zin OS. It also has the same layout of Windows, but the same style of Ubuntu. These variants are all based on Ubuntu, but with a different desktop interface. So see which one looks most comfy to use. You can try all of these and more on the DistroC website, which I will link below. After you've made your choice, we can go ahead and install it. Be aware that this will erase the data of your computer and the data of the USB flash drive you're gonna use. So make sure you've saved all of your data somewhere else. To install it, go to the website of the variant you chose and download the latest stable release. After that, you need to download Balena Etcher to flash it to your USB flash drive. Next, plug in your USB flash drive and open up Balena Etcher. Then select the ISO file and flash it to your USB flash drive. After that's done, keep the USB plugged in and boot the computer into the BIOS with the command I've left in the description. You can run this from CMD. When you're in the BIOS, go to the Security tab and disable Secure Boot. After that, go to the Boot tab and set the USB drive to the top, so it's the first boot option. Now you're all done here, so we can go ahead and press F10 to save the changes, and then you will boot into the Linux system. But it's not installed yet. To install it, there should be an option on the home screen, or it should pop up by default. Follow the instructions and it will install the operating system to your drive. Now you've installed Linux.